What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee and Toys here, bringing you another G.I. Joe comic review. And today's comic is, as I reach back here to grab it because I'm not prepped, Cobra Commander issue 4. Let's talk about it. Okay, like I said, Cobra Commander, the mini-series, limited series, call it what you will, issue number 4 dropped this week. I was able to secure both the regular copy, which is the copy of Cobra Commander hiding behind the tree with Nemesis Enforcer looking for him, and also the 1 in 10 edition I was able to pick up, which is the more classical looking Nemesis Enforcer and holding Cobra Commander high above in the swamps. So I was able to pick up both those copies, got my reading in, and I'm really excited to review this with you guys today. But if you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Mark. I'm with Coffee and Toys. On Fridays, I review G.I. Joe comics that dropped of that week. That includes G.I. Joe Real American Hero, Cobra Commander Limited Series, Duke Limited Series, and the upcoming Destro and Scarlet Limited Series as well. That's what I do on Fridays, and since we had a drop this week, we get to review Cobra Commander number 4. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit the bell notification, set it to all notifications. That way you never miss a comic review. I do modern G.I. Joe comics. I do vintage Marvel run G.I. Joe comics on Mondays. On Saturdays, I do action figure reviews. Those can be Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, G.I. Joe Classified, just any number of things that I might have picked up during the week. And then on Sundays, I do retro G.I. Joe classical figure reviews where I actually unbox retro vintage figures, classic figures that I've purchased as well. That's a really fun one to check out if you've never seen one of those videos. But with that being said, issue number 4 of Cobra Commander is written by Joshua Williamson, the artist Andrea Molina, colorist Annalisa Leone, and letterer Russ Wooten. This is the same crew that's done the other 3 previous issues. They are doing a fantastic job and continue to do a fantastic job in the storytelling and the artwork for issue 4 of Cobra Commander. I apologize if you see me look off to the side. I am reading my notes to keep me on track when I talk about this particular issue. Before we jump into issue 4, if we recall, at the end of issue 3, Cobra Commander was just getting the hell beaten out of him by the Dreadnoks. Nemesis Enforcer was revealed to us as Cobra Commander's handler that was in human form. He got attacked by the Dreadnoks, and then he revealed his true form and just started laying waste to the Dreadnoks, and we ended the issue with Cobra Commander just sitting there watching Nemesis Enforcer destroy all those Dreadnoks, and, you know, with the painted on bloody smiley on his helmet. So that's where we left the issue, and this issue picks up right where that left off. We start the issue out with Cobra Commander. He's marching, I believe it's Ripper, through a large hatch, or he finds a large hatch out in the middle of the swamp, and he makes Ripper open it. Cobra Commander then heads down this ladder, and he's walking through this labyrinth of tunnels, and he hears a voice that says, "I'm working as fast as I can. Please don't hurt me again." So Cobra Commander has come upon this scientist, and he is down in this area of this bunker working with the Energon that is in the swamp. And he's been working on it from what it seems to be for quite a while. The scientist has like very long hair. We never learn the scientist's name, so I'm kind of interested in seeing where they go with that. But he's been working on it. Cobra Commander finds him. And then we cut back to the battle between Nemesis Enforcer and the Dreadnoks. And we see Nemesis Enforcer attack Torch, and Zorana and Xandar are trying to formulate a plan that includes using Buzzer as a distraction. It's kind of funny. They're trying to come up with this plan. They're like, "What are we gonna do?" And Xandar just pushes Buzzer out of the forest, and subsequently Nemesis Enforcer swoops in. He grabs Buzzer by the arm, and I think we're led to the possibility that he actually breaks Buzzer's arm when he grabs it. They have a very small panel that shows that. And while that's happening, Xandar is in the Dreadnoks hideout, and he's basically using the Energon. He's putting it into a bottle, essentially making a makeshift Molotov cocktail. And he throws it at Nemesis Enforcer and fires on it as Nemesis Enforcer approaches, and it kind of just explodes in his face. And it gives Zorana, Xandar, Buzzer, and Torch the ability to get away on a swamp skiff during that time. Nemesis Enforcer recovers, and he goes, "I need to focus on Cobra Commander. He's my primary target, or my primary objective right now." Back in the underground lab, however, Cobra Commander is being shown by the scientist how he's basically expanded the Energon they have because they needed more of it, and you can't produce it naturally. But he found out if he mixed other radioactive elements with it, he couldn't necessarily create more, but he could expand upon it. And so Cobra Commander's reviewing all this, then he basically says, well, what happens with it? What happens with this Energon? And the scientist has a table full of those Insecticons. You might remember those from the earlier issues. And he gives the Energon, he basically takes raw Energon, mixes it in with other elements, and it creates an Energon cube. And so we get to see our first appearance of an actual Energon cube in this continuity of G.I. Joe Transformers expanded or Energon universe. So with that, these Insecticon-like dealios start eating it, becoming part of it, and they start transforming. And the scientist exclaims, it's just not that it powers them, it supercharges them into a force like anything on Earth, unlike anything on Earth. So Cobra Commander exits the bunker, and he says, and he leaves the scientist down there. The scientist thought he was being rescued by Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander even said at one point, yeah, I'm here to rescue you, clearly lying. But he comes out of the bunker, and Ripper's still there, and the Nemesis Enforcer says, were you successful? Cobra Commander says, absolutely. We have it. It's here. He tells him about the scientist and how the scientist has done most of the work on, being able to use this. And they need to go back to Cobra-La and inform Golobulus of their victory. So they're standing there, and Cobra Commander's they're just in silence. They're standing there. Cobra Commander looks over at the burning Dreadnok hideout. He looks at Nemesis Enforcer, and then he tries to move past Nemesis Enforcer, and Nemesis Enforcer just steps in front of him. And Cobra Commander, gets all Cobra Commander. He calls him an imbecile and says, why aren't you moving? And just gets smacked to the ground by Nemesis Enforcer. During this, Ripper gets up and takes off. He's like, I'm out of here. This is between you two. And Cobra Commander's like, what are you doing? And quickly comes to the realization that his job, Cobra Commander's job, is done. And that Nemesis Enforcer's objective now is to essentially kill Cobra Commander. So Cobra Commander's like, I've done everything for Cobra-La. He goes into the same spiel he's done before. And Nemesis Enforcer's like, nope, you've said the scientists can do everything for us. We have no need for you. Golobulus has always known that you are a traitor, and now is your end. So the two begin to fight, and Cobra Commander even tries to attack Nemesis Enforcer with Buzzer's leftover chainsaw, which is kind of funny. You see Cobra Commander running up with the chainsaw, trying to swing at Nemesis Enforcer. Of course, Nemesis Enforcer easily dispatches of it, knocks Cobra Commander down, beats him up, and then rips Cobra Commander's helmet off his face, or his faceplate just completely off. Now, we don't get to see anything shocking that we haven't already seen. It's Cobra Commander underneath the mask. He's still got his bandages on, and that's kind of where they leave it. So you can see bits and parts of his face, but it's no different than what we saw in issue 1. And Nemesis Enforcer is just unloading on him, punching him, beating him, and says, you're going to die. And Cobra Commander says, I am not going to just lay down and die. That's not going to happen. And Nemesis Enforcer basically says, then run. And it shows a panel of him flying high into the air. And while he's flying up in the air, Cobra Commander pulls out an Insecticon and smashes it against his hand, and it begins transforming, and actually transforms into like a claw, a metal claw in his hand. And the first thought I had when I saw it was, it reminded me, if you collected the Rise of Cobra action figures, remember the Doctor who would later become Cobra Commander? And he had those claw accessories. That's what it reminds me of. It's like a metallic or a metal claw, and then Cobra Commander has a little vial of Energon, and he kind of plugs it in to it. And again, it kind of reminds me of Spidey putting a web shooter cartridge into his web shooters. That's what it reminded me of, anyway. And so and then it opens up to the next panel in the book, and it's a one-page full panel, and Cobra Commander basically does an Iron Man number where he does this, and he just blasts Energon directly into Nemesis Enforcer's face as he's coming down to grab Cobra Commander. With that said, we go to the next page, and in there we see Ripper walking through the swamps, and suddenly Cobra Commander grabs him by the dog tags and starts choking him. And basically keeps him hostage and says, I need weapons, and I need to know who you guys have been selling Energon to, because that person obviously has the weapons. At this point, it's pretty much Cobra Commander's on his own, and he knows it, and he needs allies. At least that's what I gathered from it. So Ripper tells him, he's like, the guy that we deal with, he's a weapons manufacturer. He's got the largest weapons manufacturing company in the world. And that's right. You know where this is going. We cut to the final page of the issue, and we see a single panel of Destro looking over Mars Industries, all of his tanks, all of his weapons. You see tanks, you see his tanks, various weapons, and that is who has been getting the Energon from the Dreadnoks. So we have now kind of tied in Duke's story with Cobra Commander's story here in issue 4 of Cobra Commander, issue number 4. And overall, a fun issue that's finally connecting the two comics together. I very much enjoyed it. Interesting in seeing where this next and final issue goes. My guess is, Cobra Commander's on his own. He's going to have to make alliances, and I'm going to guess that he's going to make an alliance with Destro, and that's going to lead into Cobra actually being formed. Nemesis Enforcer, I think, was also fun to see in this issue. I knew from issue 3 he hadn't killed the Dreadnoks, or at least the main ones. He killed off all the unnamed Dreadnoks, but he obviously left Torch, Ripper, Buzzer, Zorana, Xandar. They're all still alive, the main players. Don't know where Zartan's at in the mix of this, so he's been very quiet. Be interesting knowing where if he's going to fit into issue 5, or maybe he'll show up in the Destro series. I don't know. But considering his entire family just got wrecked, you got to know Zartan's going to be popping up sooner or later. Fun issue overall. If I was going to rate it, I don't really like rating comics. Sometimes I do it on the channel, sometimes I don't. It was a good issue. I'll give it 3 out of 5, whatever. Cobra insignias. We'll call it that. I don't know. But it was a fun issue. Can't wait for issue 5. We have... I don't know if Duke comes out next week or not. I know we're on a little bit of a hiatus with Real American Hero. Pardon me. Real American Hero is on next issue is going to come out in May. They skipped April for some reason. I don't know why. But I believe we still have Duke issue 4. I think it's going to come out this month, and I think the final 2 issues both come out in May because Scarlet and Destro's miniseries come out in June, which would make sense. So, if you enjoyed this review, please make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment down below. Let me know, are you picking up issue 4 of Cobra Commander? Support your local comic shops. They're the ones that keep the comic business essentially alive. We go there, we support them. We buy as many issues of Cobra Commander as Duke as we possibly can. And we will be in for a real treat. I am enjoying where Skybound Entertainment Image Comics is taking this series with this new take on G.I. Joe. And yeah, that's about it. I think I'm going to wrap it up. And you have been watching Coffee with Toys. I'm Mark, and I will talk to you later.